welcome to my first ever video. Real quick, I'm just going to introduce myself so you can know who I am. I am Allie Redwood, and this lovely little ranch I'm at right now is Redwood Ranch. It used to be my parents' ranch, but they wanted to retire, so they passed it on to me. So today I'm going to try some lesson horses and ponies, because even though the ranch does have a few, it could definitely use some more. And I decided, why not take some people along with me? I had a total of 4 horses to try out over the next 2 days, and the first one was Radish. Radish is a 14.1 hand Black Tobiano Icelandic gelding. The ad says that he's really good with kids but can be a little sassy, which isn't too bad. I definitely think we could work on that. When I got there, Radish was already caught, which was a bit of a shame since I usually like to catch them myself to see how good they are about being caught, but the owners were kind enough to let me tack him up. Tacking Radish up was a breeze. He didn't mind me putting the saddle on him or tightening the girth, which is definitely a good sign. The owner was kind enough to set up some trotting poles for me and Radish, and he did perfect. He didn't trip, didn't stumble. He stayed right in the middle and followed all of my cues. After the trotting poles, we went over to the other side of the arena where there were just some jump wings that we could trot through, and here's where some of his sass really started to shine through. There was one pole on the ground that was kind of raised, and he just said, "No way." It wasn't anything I was too worried about. I weaved him through some cones that were nearby, then went through it again with him, and he did perfect. I absolutely loved Radish. I definitely think he would be a great candidate for the lesson program. I definitely think that kids would love him, and even if he is a little bit sassy, I think my students can handle it. Next up is Sweetie, a Palomino Halflinger mare with the registered show name Sweet Like Sugar, which I thought was absolutely adorable. She is 14.2 hands and 13 years old. She's also really good with kids and is trained in jumping, which I think would be great for our intermediate students. She also has really good ground manners, which is definitely what I'm looking for. Before I left to see Sweetie, I actually decided to put my trailer because I was actually pretty sure that I'd be getting her. When I arrived, I was able to catch and tack up Sweetie on my own, and as stated in the ad, her ground manners were absolutely perfect. I was very lucky to be able to try her, considering that there are a lot of people who want to get this pony.
The only dove I see. Could you love me more if by the sun and moon I swear that I would never feel? Well, I still taste you on my lips, lovely bitter water, terrible fire, gold red is honey on my tongue. And I know I shouldn't love you, I know I shouldn't love you, but I do.
My soul, I feel the empty hole, the cup that can't be filled, and I feel it in my blood, in the fire and the flood, the beast that can't kill. Even now you mark my steps, a lovely bitter water. All the days of our delights are poison in my veins, and I know I shouldn't love you, I know.
Alright, so that ride was amazing, and I just finished talking to the owner, and Sweetie will be coming home to Redwood Ranch today, which I am so excited about. I absolutely love her. Now it's time for the long ride home. Third on the list was Sky, and our first horse. Sky is a 15.6 hand mare, and she is a Pentavian. She's kid safe and is apparently an eventing horse. She's up to date, loves trail rides, and she's 15. I wasn't actually planning on trying Sky, but the owner reached out and asked me if I wanted to. I didn't have anything going on, so I decided why not. Alright, it is day 2, and I took out my braids, so now my hair is super wavy. Today is also the day that Jorvik's snowstorm decided to finally hit over here, which is, I mean, it's good and bad. But I'm about to head out to see Sky. Sweetie is right here behind me. She's settling in great, and let's go. By the time I got there, the owner had already caught and packed up Sky for me, which, okay, she was a little sketchy. She wouldn't really let me pet Sky, and, well, you'll see what happens when I got on her. So I got on her, and we started walking up to these little, like, round pens that the owner had on top of this hill. And there was a wheelbarrow near the path, and for whatever reason, Sky completely freaked out. She spooked and she reared. I almost fell off, and that was definitely one of the first signs that she would not be suitable for the program. I tried my best to kind of reassure her, and she seemed pretty good after a few seconds, so we kept walking up to the arena. We finally got up to the arena, we started trotting around, and she was pretty okay. She did toss her head a few times, but I wasn't too concerned about that. But then, when I tried to get her into a canter, she reared once again, and this time I actually almost fell. So, that was just the last straw for me. I got off, and I told the owner that I wasn't interested. Right after that, it was time for the fourth and final horse. And last but certainly not least is Rebel. Rebel was actually the first horse I ever rode. My parents sold him a while ago, so when I saw that he was for sale again, I immediately wanted to go see him. It had been quite a long time. He is a 14.1 hand gelding. He is an amazing lesson horse. I know, I've ridden him before. The only real reason I didn't immediately buy him is because I have not ridden him in multiple years. I did get to tack up Rebel myself, but I decided you were probably kind of bored of that. So I started riding. Warming up was super easy, and they had some hay bales and this one cart thing in the arena that the owner said we could jump over, and you know, he did good. He is pretty similar to how I remember. Since I already had Sweetie, I was trying to only get one horse, but now I was pretty split between Radish and Rebel. Rebel would be perfect for beginners, and I think with a little more training, he'd be good for intermediates. But Radish might be a little more versatile. He's definitely good for intermediates and advanced, and if his sassiness can be controlled a little bit, then I think he'd also be good for beginners. I finished up the ride and I hopped off. I was still pretty split between them, and I hadn't really made any final decisions. So I decided, since I wasn't pressed for time, I would just wait and see what I thought later. Hello, it is the next day, and I still have not made a decision. I really want to get the horse that will be perfect for the lesson program. If you made it to the end, then thank you very much, and if you enjoyed, please do consider subscribing. I will reveal who I bought in my next video. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye!